How you doing, guys? Good evening. Tomato sauce in here. And tonight, we're going to go over some Unholy DK dungeon gameplay. I'll go over the talents at the end. We'll see how this works out. Got some epidemics going. Alright, not a bad first pull. Not great, but not terrible. Looks to be in a decent spot. You know, the more targets, the better for Unholy usually. Whoa, where is my death strike? That was almost bad.
My god, it's working now?
Welcome back.
Holy shit.
Tonight we've got the young blubber nuggets with us as we go through this Unholy DK dungeon.
Okay. I'm watching.
So Unholy facing what it usually faces, which is the spec is a little rough without cooldowns.
What is your AoE rotation look like?
Get as many diseases up as possible and burst wounds in a death and decay.
Do you get them up on one target or do you have to tab through them?
If they're close enough, I can get them up on one.
And then you just hit something to spread them?
No, they'll spread automatically, right? So like that's the way outbreak works.
Okay.
We're at a boss.
You need to go ahead and get a Trophy GCD add-on for your next one.
Yeah, good call.
I wonder what the breakdown A-bomb is going to look like after the fight.
Big death strikes there. So not as good as Windwalker Monk, but not terrible. Yeah, I'm gonna turn my push to talk off. There you go. Now you can hear me, Blob. So what I was saying was not as good as Windwalker Monk single target. And some of the talents actually aren't working for Unholy. I'm going to go over those at the end of this dungeon. So this actually isn't even... What the heck? Okay. So this actually is not even like the right way you would play this. You would play Unholy in a dungeon, I don't think. Maybe. I mean, without Soul Reaper, but I feel like you're always going to want your rune forges. Oh, okay, apparently there's a dragon I could have clicked that would have flown me over there. So you can see I press outbreak, all my diseases go up, get my boy going, get my apocalypse, drop Unholy, or drop death and decay, and then I'm just spamming scourge strikes to pop wounds and dumping runic power so that you don't ever overcap. Sometimes you overcap a little bit on Unholy. You know, I played it at a pretty decent level in Mythic Plus, around 3K. But you know, sometimes it's worth overcapping. So this is a huge AoE pull, and I don't really have cooldowns for it, but I'm gonna pop A-Bomb Limb and drop my Death and Decay and just try to burst wounds here. Use a Death Strike. Use Epidemic. Okay, so without cooldowns and just A-Bomb Limb, we're able to do some damn there. These guys are still alive, so I will pop the coolies now. Get epidemics rolling. Have some wounds on this dude. I mean, to be honest, it plays a lot like live, except now you have super spreader by default, or super strain by default. So like now when you press your outbreak or your unholy blight, you're actually getting three sets of diseases up. So you have like frost, blood plague, and virulent plague up. That's kind of cool, I guess. Epidemic seems like it hits pretty good. You know. Okay, this guy's pulling stuff over there. The cooldowns feel really good on Unholy right now. I will say that. We'll get these boys up. Drop our buddy. And just start pumping into this. Thing that's nice about Epidemic is you don't have to be right on top of the target. Just have to have your diseases up for it to do damage. So that's always like, you know, kind of a crowd favorite. Unholy's nice with that. Wonder if there's an ability in this tree to lower the runic power cost of Epidemic. I didn't look too hard before I made this build. That would be nice. I also don't have Soul Reaper, which, you know, Unholy kind of loves, because the two talents ahead of Soul Reaper are Runeforge talents, and those are unfortunately broken. So we don't have one of our best abilities on Unholy right now, unfortunately. I don't know what this burning chain does. Okay, you pull it, you take damage. Sure, that was good for something. Can I grip this guy? Nice. I'm gonna save coolies here. Pop a few epidemics. Pop a wound or two. Some more epi. We'll go into this boss with all our cooldowns up and just kind of see what Unholy's hitting for from a single target perspective. All right, let's see what Unholy's got. What is in the sauce? So we're gonna army first. Come in, Festering Strike twice. Unholy Blight, Dark Transformation, Apocalypse, A-Bomb. Spend some runic power. And we're gonna pop some wounds. Get some haste going with Empower Rune Weapon. 15% haste, that's Unholy's best friend there. We have Clawing Shadows, so we can do this from far away. Really, honestly, full cooldowns that did not feel that impressive. Feels a lot more impressive on Windwalker. TBH. I mean, RSK is kind of broken, so if this is what we're hitting with on like a normal spec, I guess that's not terrible. Clawing Shadows doing some pretty good damn. That was a 22k crit. That was a bigger crit than you usually see, so it's nice to see they bake some extra damage into Clawing Shadows. Yeah, Clawing Shadows actually top damage in that fight. That's pretty interesting. You don't see that kind of stuff too often on live. So that's cool.
Some of these, or all of the fights so far, have been more unfriendly to melees.
Oh yeah. This this expansion looks extremely unfriendly to melee to me, to be honest. Unholy's nice because Unholy's like half a melee. It's like a little bit of both. You can Clawing Shadow's a 30-yard range melee attack. So, you know, once you have wounds on the target, you can do some damage from distance. And it's good damage. I mean, it feels good to press this button. I can't say that on live. It's usually, you know, you're pressing it to pop wounds, and it's just a part of the rotation that you have to press, but it actually feels good to press Clawing Shadows right now. So they've definitely front loaded some damage there, taken some damage out of the Unholy cooldowns, and it plays pretty it's not playing too bad, to be honest. I think Unholy feels like it's in a good spot currently. I mean, it's not doing like crazy damage comparatively, but I don't even have some of the abilities that like you would want to have on Unholy because they're bugged right now. You know, Soul Reaper being a pretty big one. Okay, I guess we're all just running past that guy. Little Wraith Walk, of course. Oh, this guy pulled all the way up there. I did not realize that. Alright. Big AoE pull. Let's see what we got going on here. A little late to it, but maybe we can still hit some big Scourge Strikes and Epidemics. Death Strike still hitting. Yeah, it's not bad. 50 something thousand damage. What was the breakdown? Epidemic's doing huge damage. Yeah, it is actually doing some really good damn. You know, that Unholy uncapped AoE is looking good in Dragonflight so far. Can I grip this guy? Nah, no way, right? Yeah. Loving having anti-magic shield here. Trying to get a couple big Scourge Strikes while I can. Yeah, I mean, Unholy's hitting. It is not in a bad spot here at all. This group's a lot better than some other groups that I've run with too, so it's nice to see other people that kind of have a feel for these mechanics. I would like to see Unholy with like the 20% better rune forges and being able to snipe with Soul Reaper. Soul Reaper's big. It's really good single target damage, and just overall, you know, it's something you really like using. Got that out a little late. Got the epidemics rolling. Try to get a couple wound pops in here. I think what would be nice is to take the talent where your death and decay actually puts festering wounds on targets. That'll help out for sure with the AoE rotation, I think. Just feel better. I mean, this is really no cooldowns right here. I mean, it's cracking. What do you think so far, Blub? I said, what do you think so far? You like Unholy?
Yeah,
What are your
I
thoughts?
question about DK in general. So, your runic power, you have spenders that do big damn. Does A-bomb limb generate runic power with its swings? Is there any abilities
Yeah,
that you hit that generate or
yeah,
help you generate more?
yeah. So, festering strike and clawing shadows are both runic power generators.
Yeah.
Unholy's interesting because
Stars cooldown.
yeah, you have multiple what would you call them, like energy, you know, on a rogue and combo points. Unholy, you have runic power, runes, and you're managing wounds on the target. So you're actually managing 3 resources. That's the word I was looking for. You're actually managing 3 resources, whereas other classes are you know, they're managing less. But I think that's what makes Unholy really fun, is the extra like resource management that you have to do on the class. It just feels good. You know, makes it so you're always thinking. I will say though, Windwalker, I guess this is a testament to how broken Windwalker is. My single target damage at the end of these fights on Windwalker is usually around like 40,000. So it's Windwalker is definitely overtuned, is what it feels like to me. This feels a lot more normal. Is that? Oh, I think this evoker. Yeah, okay. So this weird thing that keeps happening is this evoker is carrying my slow death knight into packs. I didn't even know that was
Is he picking you up and dropping it?
yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah, reverse priest grip.
That is funny. So we put our 2 festering strikes on Holy Blight, Apocalypse, and then we just start popping. We can put down our Death and Decay to pop our wounds so that Scourge Strike cleaves. And as long as you're in your Death and Decay, and this is why Clawing Shadows is so nice in Mythic Plus, let's say the mobs run out of your Death and Decay, but you're in it, your Clawing Shadows, aka Scourge Strikes, are still actually going to cleave with you in Death and Decay, whereas usually a mob would have to be in there. But Clawing Shadows, because it's ranged, you still get that cleave effect. It's a little micro play on Unholy that you know, kind of separates the men from the boys.
Did you just take fire damage from standing on the grate?
Yeah.
Instead of the...
Yeah, that grate, one of the grates over there, literally, it beat me up. It is too hot over there.
That's kind of neat. What if they done that?
Yeah.
Like, oh, the lava under this floor, it hurts.
All right, Unholy, Fester. Should have festered twice first. APOC, A-bomb, start dumping runic power. Get ready to start popping wounds with our big clawing shadow strikes. Don't overcap runic power. Still popping wounds on the target. Clear some runic power out. Apply wounds, pop wounds, dump runic power. Unholy in a nutshell. Now you have to break this absorb shield on this dude so that you can kick him, I guess. There we go. We got 4 wounds, so we apply our Apocalypse, pop that. And here's where it'd be really nice to have Soul Reaper, but again, you know, the 2 combo points on top of it are bugged.
What just crit for 36k there? Was that an epidemic?
That was Clawing Shadows. So clawing, that's like just a runic power generator and a festering wound burster. Kind of cool how front loaded Unholy damage is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's like one of your builders essentially is.
Let me see if it could have been Death Coil too. No, that was a Death Coil actually, which is really
wow.
cool. Yeah, really cool.
That's a ranged skill.
Yeah. So Clawing Shadows, right? Our biggest crit Clawing Shadows was 21.7k, which is incredible when you compare it to retail, because it hits like a wet noodle. And then Death Coil, where I didn't even talent into big damage Death Coils. I went for like a more AoE focus build. Crit for 36,000.
You know what this version of DK reminds me of?
What's that?
What we're playing in Wrath right now.
Yeah, exactly,
like,
right?
Wrath right now is like a bunch of diseases.
Yeah.
And Death Coil hits for a shitload.
Yeah, and
when they throw those out.
So what's cool is in this talent tree that I went, right? Your diseases, morbidity, for example, or your diseases super strain, it applies all 3 diseases. So now you have your 3 diseases up. It's not as cool as Wrath because you're putting them up with one button. And then that ties into morbidity, where every disease you have on the enemy, they take 2% increased damage per disease. So now you just have a rolling 6% damage buff on everybody. Then you couple that with Death Rot. Now what Death Rot is, Death Coil and Epidemic, they apply a stacking debuff on the target so that it'll take 1% increased shadow damage, and that can stack up to 10%. So you're just stacking up that extra 10% damage, then you have another 6% modifier over here. You know, as the expansion goes on with all these modifiers, that just means that Unholy is going to get stronger and stronger, right? And again, I didn't even mess with the Gargoyle, Unholy Aura, Commander of the Dead build, which I think is really, really cool too. Probably a more single target focus build. You know, I was thinking I did use it in some PvP duels, and it was a lot of fun dueling with it. But I don't know that I would say it's the best in arena because it's still a 3-minute cooldown, right? But single target raid, I bet you we might see some Gargoyle play. Again,
is there any point that we can find for Gargoyle?
Say that again.
Is there any point we can find somewhere to get Gargoyle?
What do you mean to get him? Like, he's right here.
Yeah, I mean, it's just to put a rank in it.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I in my first Unholy video, I was using Gargoyle. So I put an Unholy video out last week, and we were rocking some Gargoyle in that. Did a duel with it, and fully deleted a Boomkin off the beta. I think he actually got knocked all the way back into retail, into the live servers. So it was a devastating loss for him. I felt really bad. The Gargoyle did some nice damn there. My minions, you know, Unholy does a ton of burst damage with Gargoyle, because Gargoyle plays in the same way that it does on Lich King, right? So you know, as much runic power as you spend, more damage it is going to do. Then you have more modifiers with Unholy Aura and Commander of the Dead, your dark transformations, making your Gargoyle and your Army of the Dead deal 30% increased damage. So, you know, that's pretty cool right there. But yeah, this was the little talent breakdown I just did in that dungeon. Unholy Bond is currently bugged, so I'm not going to put 2 talents to increase the effects of my Runeforge effects by 20%. If I can't, you know, to have that do 0 on the beta right now just to use Soul Reaper. So I figured let's play around with some Icy Talons, some Empower Rune Weapon, and really Icy Talons, it had a synergy with something that I didn't end up taking. So erase that synergy. But Icy Talons is good anyway, right? Your runic power spending abilities increase your melee attack speed for 6 seconds. Oh yeah, so Epidemic, everything, right? Icy Talons is always proccing there. And I did find use cases for Empower Rune Weapon in that dungeon where it felt good having it, to be honest with you, where I was rune starved, and you know, out of runic power, pop Empower Rune Weapon, and you're right back in the mix. So, Blub, I appreciate you joining me for this beta dungeon run of Unholy DK. Thank you, everybody, for tuning into the video. If you haven't liked, subscribed, commented, interacted with the videos yet, do that, right? Doesn't cost you anything, and it just helps us out, keeps the content coming. We are on a mad dash to create the best content, you know, available for you guys. All right. We're one of the only people putting out beta content like this, you know, every day. So tune into the channel. We'll have more gameplay vids coming. Have a great night. Tomato saucing out. Make sure you subscribe. Say bye, Blub.
Have a good night, guys. Like and prescribe.
Prescribe to these videos.